Hello to you all and blessings of Lughnasadh, Lammas, the first harvest festival of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. So I wanted to come and sit beside a field of corn or barley, and I found this barley field. And this is actually a strip of barley. It's not clean. You can see other crops coming alongside. This is at the edge of this field, and then in the middle is a wildflower area, but there is barley all around, and we've got many cornfields around us here, and in the field that way they are harvesting. So that gave me a little idea, because I wanted to find all my things. I wanted to do a video today about hares and about looking after our harvest. So I did pack my little hare cards, my little hare. So we're going to do a little meditation healing today with the hares. Okay. So I want you just to take a breath in and breathe all the way down to your feet. And I want you to imagine a beautiful tree. You can see some next to me this way. Those are all oaks. The duyere. Let's draw that into you. And root your roots into the oak tree roots for strength, for courage, for diligence. And as this is a fire festival, let's protect by using the flame at the center of your being and glow and grow that flame outwards in each direction, to the front and to the back of you, to the right and the left, and above and below, and expand that around your aura now, pushing out any of the rot, the residue, the stagnant energy, and especially that energy that does not belong to you, that is put upon you by others. And then take a breath in and breathe out, relaxing and relaxing. Just let the warm breeze blow the cobwebs away. So even though we have rooted into the oak trees over there, at this time of year, it is the time of the ivy ogham. So we're going to draw that down you now. Gort, it's called gort. An ivy can be used to find ways and other routes, but it can also be used for drawing things towards you, binding things into your psyche. And it is a late source of nectar, so don't cut your ivy down yet. I would cut it down in spring, because all of these little bees and bugs will be eating the late source of nectar, because it flowers towards the end of the year. Rather, it flowers around probably in about a month's time, and then it fruits. Those little black like grape clumps, it fruits towards sort of October, November. So it is a late source of nectar for the bees as they bed down, living off their own honey reserves for the winter. I want you now just to imagine you're walking along the edge of this field. And as you look out, you can see the wind rustling the barley, creating what we call wheat waves, rippling the corn. And then you catch sight of a hare. The sound of the combines has alerted the hare, who needs to move her leverets. It scuttles in front of you and into the barley. You stop, watching where the leveret is moving, looking at the corn, just gently moving. And then, suddenly, you see a beautiful woman standing up. Here's our little woodland healer, our proxy goddess for today, our witch goddess. She looks around, trying to work out where the noise of the harvesting is coming from, up on her hind legs, looking around. And she spots you. This woman / hare goddess witch. She beckons you over. And you start to make your way through the corn, swooshing, running your hands across it, keeping to the tram lines so you don't ruin the farmer's crop. And when you reach her, she thanks you for coming today. And she asks if you will help move her leverets, her little baby hares. You tell the hare witch goddess, of course you will help her. And she hands you over a basket with a cloth, a calico ginkgo cloth. She tells you to wait here, and you sit yourself down. Suddenly, she disappears, and you see the corn moving as she makes her way through. You lose sight of her. The barley is so thick. And then, as you are standing looking in the middle of the field, you hear a rustling. And the hare mama has a leveret in her mouth by the nape of its neck. You put your basket down, and she drops the little baby hare into the basket. You cover it with the cloth to keep it quiet, and she scampers back into the barley again. She goes to collect another one rustling through the corn. You lose sight of her, and then, before long, she arrives at your feet again with another leveret held in her mouth by the nape of its neck. You lift the cover over, And she drops the leveret into the basket, and you cover it up again. And off she goes back to collect her last baby. You lose sight of her, but before long the corn ruffles. And here she is again with her third child. You lift the cover off, and she drops the hair into the basket. You pull the cloth over gently, puffing it up a little bit so that air can get in. Then our hair disappears and changes back into the hair witch goddess. She comes to sit down next to you at the edge of the field, and you both look over to the combine, which is making its way up and down the next field. It is nearly finished, so this will be the next harvest field. The witch hair goddess turns to you, and she thanks you again for coming to help her. She says that these are her harvests for the year, and that she really needs to look after them just for a little bit longer, nurturing them until they are able to scamper off and have their own lives. She says to you, I need to go off and find a new nest. We live precariously on the surface. We do not make dens or holes. We nestle down in grass. So we have to move when danger comes, and the combine harvester will soon be here. She scampers up onto a rock, a standing stone, a marker at the side of the field, assuming her hair form again. And she surveys the landscape. She spies the oak trees. She assumes her humanoid form again, and she asks you to watch and nurture and look after the leverets while she goes off into the oaks to find a safe spot. Off she goes. The moon-gazy hare scouting for a new place, a different route, if you like, plan B. Once you lose sight of her again, you look down at the basket, which is a metaphor for your own hopes, dreams, and plans. The things that you have been working on over the year come to your mind now, and you summon up energy at your solar plexus and set your intentions. You think about everything that you have accomplished, all the seeds that you have sown. And you think about how you will need to change things up, having that plan B the goddess told you about. Being adaptable, changing, going with the flow. After all, you think, as you look upon the barley, the farmers never know exactly when they are going to harvest. They have to adapt their plans to work with the weather. And this year, you think some of the harvests were late in the ground because weather conditions weren't quite right. So, I too can adapt things. You hear little noises from the basket, and you see a nose wrinkle up. You talk in a soothing voice of unconditional love, soothing the leverets, telling them Mama will be home soon, and she will take you to a safe place. The noise of the combine starts up again after the field workers have had a little break. And you realize time was of the essence here. And you thank yourself for coming for a walk at this time, for watching this meditation at this time, because you were needed. The corn rustles, and Mama Hare pops up again, assuming right in front of you her human form. Thank you so much for watching my babies, the seeds of our future, she says. I have found a place. Would you like to follow me now into the trees? Again, she assumes her hare form and scampers off running slowly so you can keep up at a brisk walk with the basket of baby leverets. Over to the trees you go. And the hare witch goddess takes you to a little place, a little kind of bramble, which is the Muin tunnel. You stop outside it and you crouch down and you put the basket down there and you lift the calico off. She picks up the first baby hare and she crawls into the bramble tunnel. One safe leveret, you think. She comes back. She picks up the next hope and dream and harvest, carrying it back through the bramble tunnel into her new nest. 2 leverets safe, you think. she comes back out, picking up the last of her babies. She takes the precious cargo back through the tunnel into the new nest. She returns and assumes her form of the witch Hare goddess. Again, she thanks you prolifically for coming to her aid today to help her, because she had to change her plans to plan B, and you were just here at the right time, she says. She asks you to put your hand out, and she reaches into a pouch on her waist, pulling out a gift, a little trinket for you. If you hold your hand out in real time, she drops the gift into your hand. Can you feel it? Can you sense what it is? If you are not sure, you may ask her. The witch Hare goddess now blesses you. And she tells you an old rhyme. She says it harks back to the time when people lost trust in hares. I will go into a hare with sorrow and sick mickle care. I shall go in the devil's name, and while I come back again. I shall go into a hare with sorrow and sick mickle care. I shall go in the devil's name, and while I come home again. I shall go into the hare with sorrow and sick mickle care. I shall go in the devil's name, and while I come home again. She tells you to be proud of who you are and don't let anyone label you. Disregard them, she says. I am no devil, but if they want to think I'm a devil, then so be it. She laughs, and her laugh is infectious, and you laugh too. Thank you, again and again, and 100 agains, she says. Now look after your hopes and dreams as I will look after my little leverets. Your harvest will be prosperous and full. But it comes with hard work, she says. Don't ever forget that. I have one last request of you. Will you collect some ivy and just lay it over the front of my little nest so that we are hidden from any predators? And when I need to go out, I will just nose it out of the way and push it with my paws. Of course, you say. Off you go now, collecting the ivy, balling it up roughly, snapping it off branches. And then you bring it all back to the mouth of the little nest tunnel. You scrabble it around a bit. And you just lay it in front, almost covering, but not too much. And then you turn and you leave the oaks, walking back along the edge of the cornfield towards the path, towards your harvest and your dreams. And as we finish this meditation, I'm just going to draw some symbols, a double chokray in. And the next one is called Mara, and it is for abundance. And we send that into your root chakra and your feet. An extra chokray to seal it in for your harvest. And grounding this meditation, healing experience, intention experience in, bringing it all earthbound. As Lu's light shines down, as the Irish god ripens the corn, and you now know that you are blessed by the witch, Hare goddess, and that you helped save her harvest. Love and light to you, my friends. Blessings of Lughnasadh and your own harvests. And remember, change things up if you need to. Lots of love, and I'm going to do the countdown now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Goodbye now.